We're discussing two main issues. One, the ambulance saga. Yesterday, after the court session, two press conferences were held and some statements were made. So the minority wants Dame, the Attorney General, dismissed and prosecuted. And the majority also claim that the Attorney General's credibility is still intact. So just to give a bit of background on this case, we know, or we've come to learn, that the rules of the legal profession mandates that a person who is represented by a lawyer must not be contacted by a lawyer on the other side, except through his legal representation or in the presence of his legal representation or lawyer. Now, the Attorney General is allegedly said to have contacted the third accused person, Mr. Jakpa, without the consent of his lawyer or in the presence of his lawyer or through his lawyer. Now, the NDC is saying that the Attorney General, being the first gentleman of the legal practice, the leader of the bar, ought to be held to high standards, if you like, higher standards than regular lawyers. And so if he's done a thing like this, then he ought to be dismissed and then prosecuted. This, they said through the chairman, General Mosquito Asiedun Ketia, at a press conference soon after court. Then after that, there was another press conference by the MPP, led by the chairman of the MPP Legal and Constitutional Committee, Mr. Frank Davis. And he said that, well, the Attorney General's credibility is in fact intact, and he has not done anything untoward. He has not broken any rule of the legal profession. And most importantly, a certain tape of just a little over 16 minutes, which has been widely circulated as an interaction between the Attorney General and Richard Jakpa, is said to have been doctored, according to Frank Davis. This tape is doctored and is not a fair representation of the interaction between the two people, that is the Attorney General and Mr. Jakpa. So all of this transpired yesterday. If you haven't heard the tape, we'll just bring you a transcript of just a part of it for us to understand exactly what happened. But before that, let me take you to the two press conferences that happened yesterday. We'll show you just a snippet of the NPP side and the NDC side, and then we'll look at a transcript of the phone call. Let's take a look.
That the decision to take the minority leader and some others to court over this matter was born out of malicious, sinister, and wicked desire to silence him through unjust imprisonment, nothing more, nothing less. As we publicly stated from the very onset of this case, the timing and circumstances of this so-called prosecution shows that it was instituted mainly to intimidate and silence the then-ranking member of FINA. The immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of Godfrey Dame for bringing the high office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice into disrepute and public opprobrium. Clearly, Mr. Dame is not fit to hold himself out as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He is unfit to be the leader of the Ghana bar. The immediate prosecution of Godfrey Dame for multiple violations of the laws of Ghana. We wish to make it clear that should President Akufo-Addo refuse or fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute for this heinous crime of fabrication of evidence.
If it is the firm belief of the NDC and Adu-Forson that no laws had occasioned the state from its conduct, then they should just remain faithful to our judicial system and seize these malicious orchestrations targeted at bastardizing our judicial system and to prevent him from standing trial to its final conclusion. They should just keep quiet and let the proceedings in court continue. We are very clear in our minds that the cause for the resignation of the Attorney General is misplaced, unwarranted, and this will not put any spokes in the prosecution of KSL Adu-Forson and his associates. Ladies and gentlemen, the call for the resignation of the Attorney General coming from the NDC is very, very rich.
All right, so those are snippets from the two press conferences held by the NDC and the NPP after the trial. Now, let's take a look at the transcript of that 16-minute audio that has been widely circulated, which is allegedly between the Attorney General and Mr. Jakpa. Let's take a look at the transcript. The contract is for 200 ambulances in tranches of 50, 50, 50, 50. AG, hold on. So the contract of 50 ambulances is different from this one. And then, next slide, please. All right, so Jakpa says, no, the contract is for one contract for 200 ambulances, which has been broken down. For every 50 tranche, you establish LC for every 50 tranche. So you can have 4 LC for the 200 ambulances. Then AG, no. For that part, I disagree with you because if you look at the terms of the contract, it's quite clear and it should not be difficult for you to attest because it does not put you in any problem. AG again, you are not the Minister of Health. You are not the Minister of Finance. Then Jakpa, the problem I have in accepting that for you is that in their letters that confirm that both from government and from the principal, that is every 50 ambulances. That confirms that now I will be tendering those letters in, so I cannot go against what the letter says. Then the AG says, if we agree to do this, in my view, it makes it so simple. It does not involve any problem for you. Then Jakpa says, if I agree to your position and how you want me to do it, frankly speaking, I will be dishonest in such a way that I will be assisting for someone I know is completely innocent about this. For example, to forcing to be jailed because I knew something was wrong was not the way, and I decided to keep quiet and answer the question in a way for you to jail him. All right, so that's just a snippet or just a part of the transcript of that audio. If you haven't heard it, you can find it on our various platforms. Now, after this audio came out, a lot of commentary has been had, a lot of things have been said, including the chairman of the Legal and Constitutional Committee of the NPP saying that this tape is doctored and is not a fair representation of the conversation that took place between the two parties, as the Attorney General and Mr. Jakpa. That's the first issue we're going to be discussing this morning. But also remember that today is the last day for the limited voter registration exercise. You know that there was an extension for 2 additional days. That's yesterday and today. So today is the final day. If you haven't registered, you might want to do so today. But if you have been there or if you're at any of the registration sites, we're going to be talking to some of our correspondents from the Eastern Volta, Ashanti region, as well as Accra to find out how the final day is going. But I've got my guests in the studio now and seated to discuss these two major issues. You can also be a part of this discussion with the hashtag TV3 New Day on X. First, Mr. Roxon Nelson Dafiamepo, Member of Parliament, South Dye constituency, is here. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Great to have you. You're welcome. Nice shirt you've got on there.
Thank you. And good morning to my former chairman, Bernard. And good morning, my brother. Good morning to our viewers, especially my people in South Dye. Peki, Bali, Beve, Tongo.
Peki,
Bali,
Beve,
Tongo.
Beve, Tongo. These are different areas. Yeah, okay, not one. So the way you said Peki, Bali, Beve, it sounded like one
no,
town.
It's not.
All right. All right. So also Mr. Bernard Mona is here, former chairman, I beg your pardon, incoming presidential aspirant
Former chairman incoming.
Yes. I needed to put the incoming presidential aspirant first. Did I capture that right?
Yes. Incoming president.
Incoming president.
Yes.
Rather,
yes.
not aspirant.
No, aspirant I am, but incoming president.
Incoming president.
Beautiful.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
Precisely.
Yes, sir. You're welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Well, it's an opportunity for Dafe Makpo and then Enoch to be sitting closer to the next president. And of course,
you're privileged.
I see.
So
all right.
You should take advantage of your presence here and to make relationship better so that on that day, when I'm standing and taking the oath, I can spot you amongst the crowd.
All right. So Enoch is also here. Enoch Afuakwa is a communications team member of the NPP, and I hear we'll be addressing you as something else pretty soon. We'll wait for that. Welcome to the show, Enoch.
No, he's a lawyer, but he's waiting for the crowning moment.
He's a lawyer already?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because they just have to do the ceremony to say you have been called.
Okay. So you are an incoming lawyer. He's not a lawyer yet.
He's passed the bar exams.
Okay, but he hasn't been called to the bar yet. All right. So we'll soon address you as such, but for now, you're welcome to the show. It's great to have you. It's great to have you. All right, gentlemen. So we're looking at these two key issues. The minority is asking for the AG to be dismissed and prosecuted also. The majority is saying that all of this is unnecessary because the credibility of the AG is still intact and there's no problem at all. Let me start with you, Mr. Dafe Makpo. Should we not wait for the full trial to end before we call for such dismissals and prosecutions and so on?
Thank you very much. Let me be very blunt with you. There's no trial involving the AG.
Okay.
Okay, so your point, maybe you mean to say that the substantive matter, which is being heard, as a result of which these other matters
have come up.
Yes. Now, in law, there's something we call voir dire, and these matters are serious. This matter borders on the professional conduct of the Attorney General. That is what's come up. Why? Because the Attorney General, as the Chief State Prosecutor of the Republic of Ghana, is himself seized with the conduct of the matter. And a material witness who also doubles as the third accused person against whom you brought charges before a court of law under oath, says to us that you have interfered with him not once, not twice, but severally at ungodly hours sometimes. Pursuant to our Evidence Act, Act 323, the AG ought to have, first of all, resisted and objected to this sort of evidence. Resisted in the sense that it was not true, or it shouldn't constitute part of the records. And then he will lay the appropriate foundation before the judge for it to be expunged. He didn't do that. And the presumption is that the Attorney General knows the law better than any other person at the bar. There is that presumption. If you take away judges, the Attorney General arguably is the person who is presumed to be seized with the greater knowledge.
He's the leader of the bar.
He's the leader of the bar. So all these cases are extended to, in fact, if I'm in court and I'm waiting patiently for my case to be called, anytime the Attorney General and his avalanche of state prosecutors saunter into court, I'll have to give way. He's giving special preference in court. As soon as he comes, his case or his cases will have to be called.
Okay.
So you don't enjoy these privileges lightly. And so we are saying that the conduct as alleged by this third accused person, Mr. Richard Jakpa, was not recanted by the Attorney General in court. It's gone into the records, as we say. It's formed part of the proceedings of the court in respect of this matter. It's subsequently been certified by the judge and it's been released. It is such a major matter in any decent democracy. The Attorney General should be behind bars by now.
For
crimes.
It has not been proven.
Why? When the Attorney General initiates investigations against you, interdicts people, are their cases proven before he does that? When a crime is alleged to be committed, investigations will have to be conducted.
But you yourself said in the beginning of the submission that there's no trial involving the Attorney General.
Yes, but in the course of conducting a trial on behalf of the Republic, he's alleged to have committed a crime. What is done? It's not merely professional misconduct.
What is the name of the crime he has committed?
Interfering with a witness.
Okay.
That's a crime.
Okay.
That's a crime. So he ought to be investigated, dismissed from office, placed behind bars, and then investigation launched into his conduct. Indeed, if other state prosecutors, such as policemen who conduct prosecutions on behalf of the Attorney General, if GRA staff who, as a result of the derivative powers of Article 88, inherent in the new GRA Act, who are power to prosecute tax crimes, if they do this, the Attorney General would have directed such officers to be interdicted, and then he himself and his office would have launched investigations into the conduct, has been alleged by a witness in a court under oath. So these are not lightweight matters. These are very serious matters. And let me give you the sequence. When he left court, after the matter had been said in court, formed part of the court's proceedings, and the certified true copy of the proceedings secured and certified by the judge and released, the Attorney General issued a statement on the 24th of May. Do you know the contents of the statement he issued?
What was the content?
He said he never met Richard Jakpa. He's never met him. That was the 24th statement by the Attorney General. By the 25th, his PRO said that, well, they met Jakpa, but they suspected that he must have recorded the conversation. Then in the 25th of May released, now they are bringing in a certain Supreme Court judge.
Kolendi.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Because his name has not been mentioned.
Okay.
You bring in a certain Supreme Court judge. Now you admit that you were actually in the home of the Supreme Court judge, and then Jakpa came into that meeting. Now, the NDC reacted and gave out the sequences of the events. The Attorney General now come back to his political party and says that the tape that we have played is doctored, and that they use the language, they use the phrase that it is not a true reflection,
a fair representation
of what happened. Oh, so they now admit that indeed something happened?
Well, that's the question left for them to answer.
So what is the true reflection of what transpired? They should give it to us. Because we've made our case and established the fact that professional misconduct has occurred. 2, they said that our call for the dismissal of the Attorney General is unwarranted. It appears that when they use English language, they don't understand properly. We've established the basis that the Attorney General has professionally misconducted himself by interfering with a witness by calling the witness at ungodly hours. That's one. Two, by actually guiding the witness to bear false testimony against the innocent. Hold on. Third, by actually meeting an accused person that he is prosecuting in the home of a Supreme Court judge. There's nothing more judicially scandalous than this.
Even if he did not intend to meet him there, he happened to be there, and then this gentleman arrived.
Why didn't he saunter out of the meeting? That, my lord, I have come to see you on a matter, but if this gentleman will be part of the meeting, I am sorry, I cannot.
What do you say to those who are saying that shouldn't the minority be asking for an investigation into the matter?
Why?
Instead of immediately jumping to a dismissal and a prosecution?
No, we have done that. It appears that people are not listening to us. We are saying that dismiss the Attorney General. When you dismiss him, that's not the end. We will launch investigation into the matter. So, as we speak,
you want to
investigate leave office
after dismissal?
No, yes. Why? He must leave the office. That's a public office.
Shouldn't it be the other way around?
No. He can't. Look, he himself has asked people to step aside in many, many occasions under his watch and launch investigations into matters. So he must step aside. Whether the stepping aside means suspension or dismissal, that is all we are asking for. And two, we are asking for a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry into the matter. So this is what the NDC is saying. We are not simply saying that Godfrey Adami should be dismissed simpliciter. We are asking for further action, which includes investigation and appropriate prosecutions. Now, so for them to say that the call is not warranted is actually running away from the issue, because they realize that we have established our case against the Attorney General and calling for his head. This Attorney General has misconducted himself in many, many, many ways. Mm-hmm. And this is the icing on the cake. This Attorney General, he has to go.
Enoch, why is the majority insisting, seized with all the information that you have, that the Attorney General, in fact, has contacted a person on trial without his lawyer's presence or through his lawyer? Why is the majority still insisting that the AG's credibility is intact, that he's done nothing wrong?
Yeah. Now, let me say a very good morning to you and to my co-panel members, the Venerable Bernard Mona and Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, and use this big platform to extend the greetings of His Excellency the President and the Vice President, who is also the President in waiting for the good people of this country. Although my good friend Bernard is aspiring to the high office, when your friend is also aspiring, it becomes a bit of something, but he notes that certainly Dr. Baumia will be president before Bernard Mona becomes president. Although he's my friend, Chief, you've been buying me Wachi, but this is the truth, that your senior brother, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, represents the future.
He has never bought you Wachi.
No, but you have been buying me Wachi.
You see this kind of attitude. Me, that is close to you.
All right, let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic.
It tells me my independent judgment in this subject.
Let's stay on topic.
So, I know Dr. Baumia is watching us this morning. Now, what is this subject matter all about? In fact, I was outraged yesterday when I sat by my TV, watched the former Deputy Attorney General, Madam Betty Modidrisu, and
former Deputy Attorney General.
Former Attorney General, Madam Betty Modidrisu, and Madam Marietta Brew, and the likes, all present, where these spurious allegations were being made by the NDC National Chairman against the Venerable Learned Attorney General, Mr. Godfrey Adami. I would like to state on your platform that the press conference organized by the NDC yesterday, led by their national chairman, was no mean a press conference than a press conference which was scandalous, vexatious, and an attempt to confuse the entire population of Ghana, the people of Ghana. But when you walk on the streets of Ghana, everybody's asking, so what did they come to do? What did they come to tell us?
Everyone
what is
is
going
asking.
on? Yeah, these are the questions people are asking. Because yesterday I took to the streets. In fact, in the evening, my light went off, so I was just walking on the streets around my vicinity, and these were the comments people were passing. And I was saying, wow, I am not the only one thinking through this subject matter. What is this? And in our criminal jurisprudence or in our criminal trial, before a case commences, we have what we call a case management conference or a CMC, which is organized, where some essential documents that the prosecution will rely on in prosecuting the case, it's put forth, because the Supreme Court has ruled that disclosures ought to be made in the course of trial. And certainly, once disclosures ought to be made, they are all aware of the documents that the AG was relying on. And in our system, in Ghana, we are an adversarial system. Our judicial system is largely adversarial, that both parties are on the other side, so that the prosecution makes its case beyond all reasonable doubt because it's a criminal trial. Then, when the case is made against the accused person, the court calls upon the accused person to open his or her defense. But if the court feels that the case that has been made by the Attorney General or the prosecution does not prove the essential elements of the crime that is being alleged, a submission of no case can be made and the court can rule on these subject matters. This matter has gone beyond the submission of no case entity, meaning that the Attorney General has been able to establish a case against the accused persons, i.e. Dr. Kesila Toforsen, who is the first accused person. The second accused person, the chief director of the Ministry of Health or something, the former chief director. Then Mr. Jakpa, who is the third accused person. Indeed, Dr. Kesila Toforsen has also closed his case. Now it is in the turn of the third accused person who has made his case and now under cross-examination. Certainly, if you are in court and you see that your lawyer you see the weakness of your lawyer's defense in your state, certainly you are given the opportunity to do certain things outside, and this is what materially went on yesterday, because they feel the weakness in the case that they are pursuing in court. If you have a good defense, it is the precinct of the court that you make your case known. You challenge the Attorney General, the evidence of the Attorney General, to the contrary, that no crime has been occasioned, no offense has been occasioned, and that the court should set you free.
But the Attorney General did not deny any of the allegations regarding these phone recordings and so on.
I'm coming. This is not the forum. The Attorney General is a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And the leader of the bar, as rightly put out by my senior Honorable Nelson Daffy Amapo. Mm-hmm. He's a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And the legal profession is a regulated profession. It's a regulated market, governed by rules. Mm-hmm. Regulated by the Legal Professions Act, Act 32 of 1960. Regulated by LI 2423, which is the legal profession, the legal professionals' conduct and etiquette standards, what regulations. And we have a system of remedy as far as the conduct or the supposed conduct of some legal professionals are concerned. Once you are alleging a misconduct, the right forum is to petition the General Legal Counsel, where you produce your evidence for the parties to be called. And if they feel that a prima facie case has been established, the accused person or the person that the case has been made against will be called upon to open his or her defense, so that we interrogate these subject matters. This is a case where people are saying that, yes, this audio tape is doctored. And indeed, we are not hearing from the primary sources. All these are third-party sources. The person who made this allegation, to our hearing now, is the national chairman of the NDC, who played a certain supposedly tape.
Have you listened to the tape?
I have listened to it. I mentioned from the start that I sat by my TV and watched everything.
So you listened to it?
I'm coming. I'll get it.
Okay.
So, it is not from Mr. Jakpa, who alleges to have had a conversation or had an interaction with the landed Attorney General. Mm-hmm. It is not from, we have not had a response directly from Mr. Godfrey Yeboah Adame on the supposedly played tape to establish whether it is his voice, whether the elements in the said audio tape is a clear representation of a certain interaction or engagement that they had in the past or whatsoever. No. but we are running third-party commentaries as a result of it.
But at the press conference yesterday, it was stated by your chairman of Legal and Constitutional Affairs that the tape was doctored and it's not a fair representation of the conversation. So if we haven't heard from the Attorney General to confirm that it's even his voice on the tape, why are you jumping the gun and saying it's an unfair representation of the interaction and the doctored tape? So then that suggests that you agree that the tape in fact exists.
It is an unfair prejudice. The reason is that...
I'm asking you.
No, I'm coming. I'm answering your question.
A tape is doctored suggests that you agree that the tape does exist.
I'm coming to your point. It's an unfair prejudice. The reason is that one serious allegation on the part of we all running commentaries with regards to this subject matter.
Including the chairman of your Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We all running commentaries on this subject matter because this is not the right forum to run these commentaries on this subject matter. The reason is that, one, the Attorney General ought to be given the opportunity to defend himself as part of the rule of natural justice. And the appropriate forum is that once you are in court and you feel that a lawyer has acted against the rules of etiquette, against the standards of the profession, you go before the General Legal Counsel, who referred this petition to the Disciplinary Committee of General Legal Counsel to go through, so that all these subject matters, whether these evidences are erroneous, whether these evidences are real evidence, can be interrogated, and a decision by neutral arbiters could be made on this subject matter. You see, now we are in a country where the NDC ran to court in 2020 on a supposedly election petition without adducing any evidence in court. Fast forward, they came lambasting that yes, the court did not give the opportunity to the Electoral Commission to be interrogated in court at all their rates. But when the General Secretary was seeking to become the national chairman of the NDC, he told the whole world, including all of us, we all heard him say that the NDC went to court with no evidence. It means the court did not act wrongly in that subject matter where the court dismissed the petition.
Why are we talking about that right now?
I am talking about that matter because these are spurious allegations that have been made in the past, even against the Supreme Court of Ghana. An attack on the judiciary. And we should all understand that the judiciary is the only arbiter that we have now. The executive, through our slash and burn politics, we have been able to taint the executive. Through our slash and burn politics, we've been able to taint the legislature. The only arbiter that we must protect jealously, because that stands in our favor in times of trouble, is the judiciary. And we are bastardizing the judiciary. We started with the court. And now we are attacking the Attorney General's office.
Are you saying that the Attorney General is infallible?
He's a human being.
Exactly.
He's fallible.
So if he is said to have done something wrong, a legal misconduct, you're saying that it is wrong to speak on the matter because the judiciary ought to be protected?
It is not wrong to speak on the matter. It is wrong to preempt the outcome of an allegation because it has not gone through due process. The due process in law, as far as this subject matter is concerned, is that whoever has any incriminating evidence, there is a forum, there is a remedy for this forum, that take it to the General Legal Counsel if they have a petition. If they have evidence.
But Fredami is the leader of the General Legal Counsel.
He's not the leader of the General Legal Counsel.
I beg your pardon, of the bar. He's a leader of the bar.
He's a leader of the bar because he's the Attorney General.
Yes, because he's the Attorney General. Now, if he is found or an allegation like this has been brought against him and is brought to the General Legal Counsel, you're saying that the General Legal Counsel, he would not have any influence whatsoever on how, being the Attorney General, on how this case pans out. That this press conference that was held yesterday, where the chairperson of your Legal and Constitutional Committee spoke, all the statements that he made, including the fact that this tape is doctored, this is not a fair representation, all the statements that have been made so far, including statements by your own chairman of your Legal and Constitutional Council, are all statements that must not have been made.
Certainly, I believe that it is because of it is because of the steps
not to have been made.
It is because of the step taken by the NDC that gave the opportunity to lawyer Frank Davis to also come and respond on behalf of the New Patriotic Party.
But the question
because
is, you're saying he was wrong. He ought not to have done that.
Both parties erred in this subject matter. I am not accepting this because there is a clear laid down structure. Because they made allegation against the Attorney General, which in turn affect the New Patriotic Party. That is why Mr. Frank Davis came out based on the evidence he has.
Why do you
based on the interactions probably he has had?
Why do you think that an allegation against the Attorney General affects the New Patriotic Party?
In any case, we are in an election year.
What has that got to do with anything?
And the interest of the NDC is to raise the corruption perception in Ghana. That is their strategy, to raise the corruption perception allegations status in Ghana. That yes, these people are corrupt, these people are dead, so that Ghanaians will use that in making a decision. We are telling them they have failed. What the Attorney General is doing is that the Attorney General has been able to save this country to the tune of about 10 trillion Ghana cedis in judgment debts. The Attorney General has been able to jealously protect the public purse per his office. The Attorney General is acting independently per his dictate as a legal professional, and they should pat their hand at his back, that he's doing what ought to be done as an Attorney General and as a lawyer who respects his professional independence as a professional.
Are you aware that the Attorney General contacted Mr. Japa without the presence of his lawyer and not through his lawyer? Are you aware of this?
Nah. This is why I am calling on the NDC and Mr. Japa and whoever is interested in this subject matter to petition the General Legal Council so that we can interrogate these matters. You know, for my investigation, at the time the supposed of discussions went on was on the basis of some plea bargain thing, which is allowed in law. I'm coming.
Now,
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. Allow me.
Because you mentioned the plea bargain.
Allow me to so I can make my case so our viewers can understand what I'm driving.
Go ahead.
At the time that the invitation came from a Superior Court judge, that the Minister of Justice, who also has a responsibility over the courts and other things in Ghana, because per our dual roles and those things, visited the home of the supposed Superior Court judge. There was no idea that the accused person was coming in. It was then that I am told that Mr. Japa, the third accused person, came in, who was introduced as a nephew of the Superior Court judge. And a question was asked about the supposed plea bargain. What the London Attorney General stated, and I am clear in my mind, is that he's concluded his case. He's closed his case, and it is up to them to open their defense and make their case out. What can he do about it? The case is almost getting to the tail end, and we are expecting that the justice prevails in this country. Certainly, under no circumstances should the state be cowed into submission because of a political attack on the judiciary or on the Attorney General.
Enoch, what is the procedure for entering into a plea bargain?
The procedure for entering into a plea bargain? Oh, certainly. Once you feel that you admit guilt, that you want to pay, going into a plea bargain is an admission of guilt, that yes, you are accepting liability and you want to pay.
And what must the AG do? Must he speak to the accused person personally?
The AG can speak to the accused person personally if the accused person is unrepresented.
Was the accused person unrepresented?
At the time, per my information, I have not checked from the registry of the court to establish whether the information I have is true, is factual or infactual. Was that at the time he was not represented. He announced a new counsel in court. Certainly, before you appoint a new counsel, you need to file what you call appointment of solicitor, to notify the registry of the court, and notify the prosecution or the other parties in the case that you have appointed a new lawyer. And the dates are there to show that at the time that they interacted, or he had an interaction with the Land Attorney General, he was unrepresented. That is the fact that I know about that subject.
So you are not aware that Mr. Jakpa's lawyer was Mr. Thaddeus, I beg your pardon. You are not aware that Mr. Jakpa's lawyer was Mr. Thaddeus Sorry.
So who is his new lawyer now?
I don't know who his lawyer is.
That's why I'm telling you that he has a new lawyer. So it can be that the time that
I'm asking you a specific question that you are not aware.
I am aware he represented him in the past.
Lawyer.
But he changed his lawyer because
so we are not talking about right now. We're talking about the time of the supposed plea bargain conversation.
So we have no date at the time that Mr. What do you call it, Thaddeus Sorry was let go and a new lawyer was appointed. Let us furnish ourselves with the fine details from the registry of the courts and know when the former lawyer or counsel or legal representation was changed and when a new one was appointed,
I'm going to
so
go
that we can put bits and pieces together and establish that.
I'm going to go to Mr. Bernard Mona now.
What we need to assure the people of Ghana is that the trial is ongoing. And the court is there to do justice to all manner of people, irrespective of your status, irrespective of your political orientation, irrespective of your class. And the good people of Ghana should be awake that their taxpayers' money will go unaccounted for. And certainly, the day of accountability will come and we will all do Godfrey Dame has done very good for this country, and he needs to be praised, not to be vilified, not to be crucified in this manner that we are doing.
All right, I'll read a couple of messages and come to you, Mr. Mona. Now, please, the NPP rep is saying things he doesn't even understand and believe.
The person doesn't.
He doesn't know that the tape played wasn't recorded this year. Why is he making it look as if the tape was recently recorded? All right. The guy must respect Ghana first and then throw his party interest somewhere. And that's Ambassador Toxler sending in that message. I'll read a couple more and then we'll continue. Musa Abatwa in Swasi says, now the NDC has provided glaring evidence of how the AG, Godfrey Dame, deviated from the ethics and norms of the legal profession, trying to coerce a star witness to give false testimony is not only a dent on the image of the country, but also eroded the confidence of international community. I support the call for him to resign or be sacked for misconduct. However, we're calling for the Speaker to constitute a bipartisan committee to probe the matter because it's criminal for the AG to commit this fallacy. All right. Hello now. Good morning. I don't. All right. This does not speak to the matter we are discussing this morning. Okay. Now the AG has no dignity or morality. That's from Stephen Peng, texting us from Wari. The rest of your message later. Stephen, let's come to Bernard Mona.
It's fair to say greetings to my co-panelists and to be shocked at some of the revelations that we got yesterday.
Yeah.
To the extent that the Attorney General at a certain point in the conversation began to become sensible.
Began to become
sensible. It was at a certain, very late in the conversation that probably his senses were coming back to him. That he realized that he was talking on a phone in a manner that was unethical, and started saying that he doesn't even know whether there were third parties around and whether he was on loudspeaker, and whether he was being recorded. Mm. Of course, Japa evaded the issue of whether he was being recorded and went to say on many occasions that you have met me at my cousin's place. You have brought up this matter of wanting me to implicate an innocent person. And I have told you that it doesn't sit with my conscience to know that I am being crucified and I'm not happy that I am in this matter, and I fear that in my innocence you want to imprison me. Then I come and support you to crucify somebody I know has not committed any crime. This was said in the tape. And for the long conversation, you will notice that the Attorney General's way of even asking questions indicate clearly his ignorance about the matter that he has taken to court. He did not understand, and it was evident in the conversation, in the questioning, that it was Japa who was now providing the Attorney General with some education and understanding on the subject matter for which you have actually gone to court. You understand?
Yeah.
And I am terrified that this, my friend, yet to be a lawyer, will come and be defending and be sweating in the TV station. Now listen, I'm not sweating. I have followed the conversation since yesterday. And there are some words that as now every MPP communicator is using.
Which words are those?
Vexatious and scandalous. Listen to every MPP communicator. And it's like these are things that have been written to them that go out there and talk. That the NDC press conference was vexatious and scandalous. Probably if you even ask most of them, they do not understand what it means.
It was frivolous too.
You are adding now?
Yes, frivolous too.
But when you were talking, I didn't add any word. So will you permit me to speak?
Yes, allow him to speak, please.
Now, let's listen to Frank Davids. And he says that the tape was doctored. After all, they are now admitting that there was a conversation that was recorded but is doctored. Mm-hmm. So where is the original tape that they have? Because you cannot be talking about the doctrine of a tape when you have not provided the original. So provide as evidence the original tape that suggests otherwise from the tape that was provided by the National Democratic Congress. If you don't have it, then you should shut up. It's as clear as that. You don't have the original tape and you have the effrontery
without having an original tape. If you listen to a tape that has been edited, can you tell? Well, some of the jump
I am not an expert in that. And there is an expert who has spoken. Dr. Adam Bona had spoken and said that, look, those who understand bagging and recording and peer-to-peer, P2P, will know that this tape was not doctored.
Okay.
You doubt Adam Bonas too as a security expert who is into this?
I'm merely asking questions.
So I'm saying that he has come openly to say that this tape is not doctored, it's P2P.
Okay.
So I don't know why you are doing this. In any case, the second question I want to ask you, has the Attorney General's office got a PRO? They have. They pay some people for doing the work of PR. If they don't have, we pay people and workers at the Ministry of Information to do government's work. The Attorney General is a public office paid by the state. Why is the MPP running to the defense of an Attorney General who is a subject of accusation? Why is it that the MPP will have to do, and it is not the AG's PR? Because they have a section at the AG that has to be responsible for public relations. Why are they not the ones? Because they are being paid to come and tell us what is and what is not. Why is it that the Ministry of Information is not clothed with the responsibility to do this, and it has to take MPP legal team to come and respond to issues confronting the Attorney General? The Attorney General, to the best of my knowledge, is not an MPP executive. To the best of my knowledge, it's not an MPP executive. So the MPP cannot come and defend him. It must take the state and the paid institutions and persons there to come and tell us what is and what is not. Put that aside. Now, I listened to the comments. Initially, when Jakpa made this statement, I think early last week, in court, all of us were saying that it couldn't be true. The AG officer, there is no such a thing like a meeting between them. There was not a meeting. We started to believe that it's possible the AG didn't meet. Then the next day, we heard that no. Why? There was a meeting at a certain justice's house. And that they knew that it was at that place the recordings took place. Now, you went to a judge's house, the accused person comes in there. I will not go the line of Dafe Makpo. That's why I am meeting with somebody of the bench. And then another person comes. We have relations. My sister was of the Court of Appeal. So when you are there doing your things and I come to my home, I call it my home. Right? You know her. I know. So you cannot say that I cannot come there, or because I've come there, you are moving away. You can continue to do your own thing. Probably I'll be in the kitchen or be at the corner there taking some calabash or pito. And you will do what you have to do. But if you welcome me into your conversation and you decide that matters that are supposed to be in court should be discussed there, then it's something unethical. That is one. Number two, once you were saying that it happened at the judge's place, the conversation that we had yesterday did not actually take place at the justice's house. This was a separate conversation that after you have met with this man at the justice's house, made some pronouncement to him, you now went further to go and take your phone. And you now were speaking. And in the end, you were even asking him not to conclude his case to enable you to travel and come back. This one too we have to defend. I am scandalized. And I support the call that the Attorney General cannot continue to be in office whilst we extend any further investigations into the matter. My only worry is that, did I hear you say a bipartisan parliamentary investigation?
Yes.
I don't know where that will lead us to. This parliament.
What do you think should be done instead?
This parliament. Maybe.
What are your recommendations?
Maybe. Because I've listened to persons like Ansar Asare. And Ansar Asare is clear. that if the president cannot sack the attorney general because citizens are saying that he has defiled the law, so if he cannot do that, we should impeach the president.
Impeach the president.
This is what Ansah Asari says. And don't forget that he was one time director of the Ghana Law School. So he's not a mean person speaking. He owns one of the law schools in Ghana. Or what do we call it?
Yes.
Faculties.
Mount Crest. So he's teaching lawyers. So I think that this matter should not be taken lightly. An attorney general who can go off his way to do these kind of things, even as you are yet to be called to the bar, I'm not sure that you engage in such conversation. My sister, look, there were instances if you called my sister on phone and you want to talk about something and say, please, I will not do this.
All right.
My profession does not allow me to. If you want, come home and let's talk.
All right. I think
I'm scandalized. So, look.
So you support the call for his dismissal and
he has
prosecution,
kept long.
even while investigation has not even begun.
He would tamper with investigations as AG when he continues to be in office.
Yeah.
And so he must be removed. In other jurisdictions, they will say he should have been interdicted.
So,
Since President
Akufo-Addo
is accustomed to suspensions, probably he can suspend him.
All right.
And when investigations are properly conducted and he wants to reinstate him, I cannot say no.
All right. Gentlemen, I'm glad you all made your points from start to finish and concluded fully, so we don't need to go back.
No, I need to.
Okay, I'll give you just 1 minute each so we can wrap up.
1 minute will not be sufficient.
And then we need to talk about the limited voters registration exercise as well.
Mr. Fuakwa, please, don't make this law school analysis, please, with all due respect. The presence of the Attorney General and the General Legal Counsel is a statutory representation by virtue of his office. He's not there on merit. He's there because he occupies the office of the Attorney General. And you are saying that a petition should be sent to the GLC, the disciplinary committee of GLC, for them to do what against that?
What's your point?
So my point is that the call that the Attorney General should leave office is germane. It's germane. That's one. Two, it was the MPP national organizer, Nana B, who wrote on social media and mentioned the name of the Supreme Court judge as being Justice Kulendi. It didn't come from the NDC. He mentioned that. He wrote and mentioned his name. So this matter has left the domain of being a mere issue of the unprofessional conduct of an attorney general or a lawyer, so speaking, to a judicial scandal. So don't sit here and trivialize it. That's two. Three, you sit here and claim that our national chairman said what? Where did he say that? A national chairman never said so. In fact, as part of the testimony before the Supreme Court, didn't the NDC establish that the Electoral Commission falsified the Form A, which is the results declaration form? Why not in this country when Sheikh Mensah declared the presidential result about 5 times? Isn't there material evidence led in court? For which reason she ought to have been cross-examined on it? So stop this propaganda and leave the good name of our national chairman alone. 4, you are saying that the Attorney General saved this country how much in billions?
Trillions.
Where do you guys get these propaganda figures from? The Attorney General never saved this country any billions. What they have been doing is that when somebody sues, when they unlawfully terminate contracts.
Unlawfully?
Yes. And an aggrieved party sues the Republic in, say, $100. And they go through the matter and the court eventually awards, let's say, $20. Then they say that the $80 that the person didn't get amounts to a benefit to the state. How does that amount to a benefit? Because the state actually is indebted in $20. So, but they will do this convoluted analysis and be glorifying a very empty Attorney General.
I don't think you should say that.
I have to say that.
That he's an empty attorney general.
He's an empty attorney general. An empty attorney, an attorney
mean?
general who is prosecuting a matter for over 4 years, who doesn't understand what LC means. And it will take an accused person to be explaining the import of an LC to him. I was scandalized as a lawyer. And our attorney general has actually brought the office of this hallowed office of an attorney general into gross disrepute. 5. You sit here and say that matters matters are determined the presence of court. Is that what you said? I beg you, don't ever say that. You don't make your case in the presence of court, if you know what that means.
What does it mean?
Presence of court, the surroundings of court, the court environment. We don't do that. You prove your case in a courtroom properly constituted. 6. The Attorney General lied. He lied with his 24th May statement and lied with the statement issued by his PRO on the 25th. And I think that a lying Attorney General cannot continue to serve in office in this country. And I don't have to belabor the basis for which I'm saying that he lied to everybody. Because Jakpa has actually exposed him. Finally, beyond the tape, beyond the recordings, Jakpa has provided WhatsApp communication. WhatsApp, verbatim exchange of text messages.
But that's yet to be proven.
No. He has spoken. The Attorney General has had opportunity. Anybody who makes this natural justice argument is bored at us. The Attorney General has had opportunity to speak at least twice to this matter by his own personal statement and then through his PRO.
Yes, but yesterday, fresh evidence, so to speak, a fresh tape came out yesterday.
But he's had opportunity to speak to the matters. He has refused, or he has decided to conceal.
He's not in the jurisdiction.
Why?
According to his
the Attorney General can speak to this matter anywhere on this globe.
Yes, but he can speak to it when he's ready to speak.
Why? The people who are speaking for him, they don't have his mandate to speak. His own statement. Why did he conceal these matters from his own statement? If I were him, I would have shut up. I would have kept quiet. I would have kept quiet.
Well, he hasn't had the opportunity to respond to what came out yesterday.
Listen now, the Attorney General has had opportunity to speak to this matter severally.
Yes.
Through his own statement.
But yesterday,
through his
a fresh
PRO,
tape was released, and
it wasn't a fresh tape. It wasn't a fresh evidence. The man led evidence and said, "You contacted me." The Attorney General said, "I have never even met you." So he went further to establish with cogent evidence that you have indeed. What else does he have to come and say to this?
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
So
that's your time.
Yes.
But before you come in, we just need to speak to our correspondent who's joining us.
The final point I want to make is that
we'll come back and end.
I think our judicial secretary. I think our judicial secretary should.
Are you ending?
Yes, I'm ending.
Okay.
I think our judicial secretary should consider making a statement regarding the allegation of Justice Kulende's involvement in this matter. It is very, very important for me that the judicial secretary
comes out to clarify.
Yes.
All right.
It's very important.
All right. Let's hear from you, Enoch.
It is sad that when Honorable Nelson Dafiamapo was making had his first bite on this subject matter, he stated emphatically clear that we've made our case. Where did they make their case? You can only make your case in court, properly constituted, so-called.
Okay.
But on this spurious press conference, he termed that they've made their case. Where? Calling this evidence, does he really understand what evidence is in accordance with the Evidence Act of 1975, Act 323?
Inside.
You can't call this evidence. This is hearsay evidence.
Inside.
How do you interrogate this matter that you have put out spuriously? You cannot do that. You see, when you engage in partisan propaganda, you know, with all due respect to you, Leonard Senior, you must decouple NDC propaganda politics from the practice of law. I know you are a brilliant lawyer, but when you add propaganda and partisan politics to the practice of law, sometimes you goof and you err. Granted, Honorable Godfrey Ebo Adame has saved this country over 10 trillion Ghana cedis. The president made this statement, even in his State of the Nation address before Parliament.
We told the president he lied.
Before Parliament.
Did you listen to us?
We told him he lied.
Please hold your horses.
With all due respect, this is a national record. It is captured in the Hansard of parliamentary records. It is before Parliament. So you can't come and stay on national television and be lying loud with your 32 teeth. Again, that the age is empty. Oh, you see, when the NDC were in power, the biggest enterprise that were thriving was judgment debts. The Isophoton, the Woyome Gates, a whole lot of scandals.
Do you know how many judgment debts?
Hold your horses.
I was quiet. Let's have civility.
Yes,
please, Honorable. Let's have civility on this platform. You are not the only one on this platform.
Yes,
we all came here to interrogate this subject matter.
Please make a point.
You are not...
Make a point.
The fountain of knowledge. Please, you have your say. You've had your time. Let's respect our viewers. You see, talking of statutory representative that Godfrey Dame is on the General Legal Council based on his statutory functions and the likes, and he ought to go out and what? The Supreme Court has ruled, if you are not aware, in the Chief Justice saga, that the administrative duties and functions of the Chief Justice, it was sent to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that she has her constitutional duty, administrative functions, which she can do by appointing judges to sit on matters and those kind of things. So if Godfrey Dame is the Attorney General and a member of the General Legal Council, what stops you from taking your spurious so-called allegation before the General Legal Council for proper interrogation of these subject matters, so that both parties can have your say on these matters for a neutral arbiter to rule on the matter? In any case, if you take this matter to the General Legal Council, there are sanctions to it. If he's found culpable, he can be debarred, as you were saying in your press conference, that you want him debarred, you want him sacked from the legal profession, you want him dismissed. If he's not a lawyer, he cannot be an Attorney General. So why don't you use that forum rather than going into public to spew lies and propaganda before the good people of this country? Please, you cannot do this. You cannot do this to the people of Ghana. In any case, your three accused persons will never evade accountability.
Please land for me.
They have made their case. The court is resolute. The court will administer justice in accordance with law. And the people of Ghana should understand that Mr. Godfrey Adame, the young Attorney General, the learned Attorney General, has done good for this country and will continue to do same in the interest of our country. And I believe when he returns from Kenya, probably he also speak to the matters. Let these matters rest. In any case, the elements that they are using does not affect any of the trial going on.
Okay.
Quasi-financial loss to the state. Well, like this press conference affecting the quasi-financial loss to the state.
Okay, Enoch.
Or occasionally any of this.
We're going to cross over to Ibrahim now.